So you got the vibe coding bug, right? You got this app idea in your head and you thought you would try out Lovable or Replit or anti-gravity, and they're amazing tools. And the exciting thing is it almost worked. You were so excited, you said, this is amazing. The tools are amazing. But then the chat started getting long and the decisions started contradicting old ones. It started to hallucinate because the context kept shrinking. You got to start a new chat with new context, but then how do you make sure the tool remembers what was in the past? And eventually you end up with a mess. I've seen it time and time again. Many people that I've been working with over the past couple of years, same story happened to me early on 2.5 years ago. And you'll end up with something that mostly works, but really you'll end up with a pile of edge cases really that nobody has the energy to fix or how to fix it. And I call it that 80% threshold, right? And it's where it stalls, hits the wall. Now, look, it's not a failure of the AI, and it's certainly not a failure of you, right? Kudos for you trying to figure this out, getting that dream out of your head. It's really a failure of the method, of the separation. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you the complete method that I use to build real production software with AI. I've been doing it over for 2 years. The same method that I've used to build 40 plus projects, many of them enterprise level, very complicated projects, using this exact method, nothing held back. And so to explain the whole architect builder method process, let me give you this analogy. And so let's imagine you wanted to build your dream home, right? Now you could walk up to a general contractor, you could hand him a napkin sketch and some ideas and say, hey, build my dream house. And he'll build you something and it'll probably be a pretty decent house because he's skilled. But it probably won't be your dream house because the dream was never extracted. The general contractor just wants to build houses. He's going to show you, the houses that he's built, the 6 or 7 houses that he always builds, and he's going to have you tweak one of those. So nothing's ever really drawn, nothing's ever written down, and at least your dream wasn't anyway. And so what would you actually do if you're going to have the time and the resources to build your dream house? You would actually go to an architect first. That's the architect's whole job, is to pull the dream out of you, ask the questions you didn't know mattered, and turn that dream into a detailed set of unambiguous plans. And the builder in the GC is going to love it because those tells the builder exactly what he has to build, what is on those plans. So 2 professionals, 2 separate jobs, all with the same goal, and nobody guesses. So that's the same way that I like to approach coding. You see, going straight to one of these coding agents like Claude Code and Codex or Replit and Lovable, and the guys that made these products, they encourage you to do that, just to open it up and start vibing with it, right? And that's where the problem starts. It's the same exact thing of going to a general contractor with a napkin sketch. My method does what construction has done forever. Architects first, builder second. And the key is the handoff between them. The communication with them is not some shrinking context conversation in a large language model. No, it's in an actual physical folder, a schema, a disciplined, organized schema. You see, that way the tools can change. The tools can be agnostic. You can use any tool that you want. You can mix and match. The models are going to reset. They're going to get better like they always do. The chats are going to vanish in context like they always do. But your blueprints and your plans are going to survive in this folder schema. So the first step in this whole method is to do what you've already been doing, and you're probably getting pretty good at it, is to brainstorm in any large language model that you like. Claude Code, ChatGPT, Gemini, I don't care, Grok, it doesn't matter. To be clear, this is not the architect yet, right? This is everything you do before you hire an architect. It's the scrapbook of clippings, it's the list of must-haves, it's walking the land and figuring out which way your backyard is going to face, east or west. And you go to this large language model and you turn on the microphone, turn on the dictation and talk. Vomit that idea out of your head in no particular order. Messy on purpose, because the large language model does a fantastic job of organizing it. Tell it what scares you, what you want to build, who touches it, what does it look like, what does done look like, what is your dream, what is your vision? Is the app for you, or are you trying to sell it? Are you solving a major problem? Let the large language model do the heavy lifting. And you probably already know this, but that skill is not a tech skill. That's a big picture leadership skill. It's communicating intent, what you want and why. That really is the hardest part of all this. What do I want to build and why do I want to build it? And then let the model help you think and get that alignment and clarity about what that is. and turn that microphone on. 10 minutes of honest rambling is going to beat an hour of careful typing. I see guys do it all the time. I don't know what to type. I don't know what to type. Don't type. Talk. Get it out of you. And all of that, the large language model will do a great job of synthesizing that into material that you're going to eventually hand the architect when the real engagement starts. And that's really what the next step is. That brainstorm can turn into structured intake, and that intake is going to become your project folder, the drawing set for your build, the requirements, the blueprint templates, the agent instructions, the state files. The folder is the plans tube that the architect creates. Now you can build this by hand, and you can go get my free operators kit, sign up on the email list. You can explain what each of those 15-ish files are and why they're important for the folder structure to set it up. You can set it up manually, or you can get the project launcher. I set up a automated project launcher for myself. People ask me to build it and put it online, and so I've been selling it. There's over 250 people in there right now using the project launcher, and you can get it to help you extract that intake from the brainstorm and then pre-fill your intake form, and it'll give you your built ready folder in about 2 minutes, all primed and ready to go to have your architect and your builder start updating it with all the agents and the tools and the methods and the personalities of the architect builder all built in. Either way, if you do it manual or you have the project launcher build it for you, you're going to have a single source of truth that isn't a chat thread. It's a disciplined schema. Now, step 3 is when you actually start using a coding tool. Pick your favorite: Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, Anti-Gravity, Replit, whatever you want. And then connect your folder to that. Connect your schema to the tool. And then run the architect prompts. In the project launcher, it tells you how to do that. It's /architect. It's a skill. In ChatGPT, it's $120-architect. And it'll start the process. It reads every file. It reads your scrapbook, your intake, all of it. It brings itself up to speed. And then it starts to do discovery with you. It interviews you further, extracting the dream, asking the questions like an architect is supposed to do. The business decisions are getting made here long before we do any coding. We get it organized and get it set up so we know what the rules, what the decisions are, what the risks are. And then when the architect is kind of ready and it says, hey, I think I got enough information, I think I can create my first architect pack. And it'll generate that first set of instructions, those plans that the builder will build from, non-ambiguous, nothing left to guess. And the architect, remember, never swings a hammer. He never writes code, ever. That's the discipline of the architect. And it's your greatest asset to keep you organized and straight throughout the entire coding process so you never get lost. It will keep you on track. It is your best asset, your best person to bounce things off of. When that pack is generated, we start step 4. In the same coding agent or another coding agent if you want. You could do the architecting Claude Code and do your coding within Grok or Codex, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But you start a fresh session and you do the same thing. The command either /build or $120x-build if it's Codex. And it starts that skill and it becomes a whole new personality where it reads that architect pack that the architect created and then proposes a build plan from that, and then it stops. It does not touch code. It does not start writing code until you approve, the same way that a real build has inspections before the concrete gets poured. And here's my favorite move. You take that plan that the builder came up with, and you take it back to the architect for a second set of eyes. Just like you would in the real world, having the architect check the contractor's work. That 30-second inspection in my coding process has saved my bacon more times than I can count. Have the architect approve it, give some more notes, and then go let the builder execute. Writes the code, exactly what's on the plans. Nothing speculative, no drift, no hallucinations, because it's building from a schema, not from a memory of a conversation. And then step 5, the builder, when he's done writing the code for that little sprint, whatever it is, with that little feature, that little piece, everything's broken up into chunks. He writes a briefing, what he did, the acceptance criteria, what was done looked like, and updates the briefing so that the next session, the architect is brought up to speed. Or even if you started new with a new architect, if the new coding model starts somewhere else, they can read that schema and be brought up to speed, and no one's confused. Any model, walk onto the job site fully up to speed, and then repeat that process. New architect pack, New sprint, new report, rinse and repeat, feature by feature by feature until your project is done. Now, the demo apps that I've been building online on this YouTube channel, yeah, they're usually about 4 sprints. But some of my enterprise level, sometimes it's 150, 175, 200 sprints, but the loop never changes, big or small. That's the point. The context is never lost. And the project compounds and stays organized and stays disciplined instead of rotting and getting confused and turning into a mess. So why does this work? It's because the mistakes get caught on paper before they're poured into concrete. It's because the decisions live in a schema. They live in markdown files, not in anyone's memory. And because when the build is done, you don't just have an app or the house, you have the blueprints, you have the plan in an organized, disciplined fashion, an asset that you can hand to any tool, any future software developer, or any future version of yourself, and you're going to know exactly what's there, what has been built, and why. Not just a mess of handing it to a chat, tool and create this mess and you don't even know how it works. You want to know how it works, and you will know how it works by following this method. But don't take my word for it. You got Randell. He's in my cohort. He's a day trader. 17 years he's been trying to get his method that's in his brain, his own personal day trading system, out of his head and into an app. And he created it in anti-gravity, and he created a mess, but there were nuggets in there. And after sitting down with him, he said, I got further in 4 weeks than he had in 17 years. Riad, same thing. He has this grand vision, an amazing app that doesn't exist anywhere out on the market as far as I could tell. He's a subject matter expert in construction, and he's been spending all this time in Replit trying to figure it out himself, spending thousands of dollars a month in overage fees in Replit. Started using the project launcher, got him into my cohort, sat down with him a couple times, and like he said, he's 4 months stuck in Replit, and we didn't lose any of it, and he's on track, and he sees the finish line for the first time. These are the type of things that you can build with this method and with the project launcher. Now, of course, everything I showed you, you can do for free with the 120X Operators Kit. Just sign up for the full method, fill out the email, the links below. But if you want the folder to build it for yourself, you want to do it in one click, do that brainstorming, extract it, start it with the project launcher, get that folder schema built all by itself automatically. You can get the link there, the project launcher, you can get the link there as well. Look, I'm Ray, 35 years flying jets in the Marine Corps, and American Airlines taught me that real systems don't start with guessing, right? They start with checklists, architecture, and a clean handoff. Same thing I learned when I got my computer science degree back in the Stone Ages. Now you go start building something. Hope to see you on the inside.